Hello everyone, this is Mike Minton. Tonight my professional development presentation is going to cover the use of Prezi as a tool for educators to use. So let's first go to the website, which is prezi.com. Thanks to a classmate of mine in my graduate program, I first encountered Prezi in December of 2010, and I actually used it in my presentation for my job interview here at USI. I think it's a great tool for educators to use in a variety of settings, which I'm going to discuss in greater detail. I'd like to thank everyone for not awkwardly staring at me while I play my presentation. I'm using Camtasia Studio to make this presentation. It's a screencasting software, and I've never used it before, so this is my first time using it tonight. But I figured it'd save me time with having to go back and forth between a lot of browsers, and I'll make this video available on Blackboard if anyone's interested in learning more. Alright, tonight's learning objectives, basically everyone in the audience, I hope that you will have a better understanding of what Prezi is and that you'll actually be able to connect practical uses of Prezi in your work as an educator, both in and outside of the classroom. I know that several of you mentioned that you've already made a Prezi before. Some of you are probably even Prezi pros, so please forgive me for not better differentiating instruction tonight, and bear with me as I show a quick overview of what Prezi is for the folks who may not have as much information on it. So what is Prezi? Basically, it's a cloud-based presentation software. That means that you can store, you can save, and you can work online. And it's most known for having its zoomable canvas, which allows the viewer to see a huge canvas and to drill down and to make points, and so you can make connections between those points without losing the overall big idea of the presentation to begin with. I'm going to run through an example to demonstrate what this software can do. Alright, we're going to explore presentation here, so click on the Explore tab. You'll notice there are a lot of different presentations that show up under a variety of topics. I'll share with you later how you can make your Prezi not available to the public. But this is a Prezi I like to show people who have never experienced Prezi before. And since I am a former history teacher, I'm going to talk briefly about the history. Basically, this software came to be because an architect felt he had no commercial software available to him that allowed him to give a presentation to demonstrate the detail of design in a particular room without compromising the overall design of his building. And so he found that using a zoomable interface, which you're noticing here, allowed him to drill down and to show detail of these rooms without compromising the overall structure and integrity of the building that he was making. And you'll notice this is a good example of this. You see this large canvas, and this company here is drilling down ideas and information to you by using this zoomable canvas. And I think this is a good Prezi to use because it does show the different uses of Prezi without making you sick from the different zooming in and zooming out feature. There's a lot of different things that you can do with Prezi. For those who've been using it before, you can integrate video, you can integrate images and text to really highlight your presentation. I don't know about you, but I think that that's really awesome, and I haven't figured out how to do that one yet. Anyway, I thought this would be a nice little introduction into like what it is that we're actually discussing here. And so you'll notice that we're continuing to drill down into information without losing the sight of the overall big picture here. And you'll notice it's also available on mobile devices. So next we're going to... Alright, so if I haven't bored you and you're actually interested in signing up for Prezi to use it in your classroom, all you have to do is click here on Sign Up. You'll notice that it doesn't cost anything to get a license for Prezi. If you choose the public option, you just need to be very conscious that just as I pulled up that Prezi for you, that any of the Prezis you make, any lesson, anything is available to the public. Also know, regardless of which license that you choose, Prezi owns the content of the information used in these Prezi presentations. The big difference here between the three is that essentially there is an option called, since this is a cloud-based software, it's Prezi Desktop, and if you choose the Pro license you can get that. But the nice thing about being a teacher are there are breaks for that. So you'll notice if you click on the teacher option, They have an Education Pro license, which is only $59, so you save $100 on a year, and it allows you to use the Prezi desktop. So what that means is if you don't have available to internet connection, you can still work on your presentation via your machine that you're using, and this is a nice thing to have. So, you might be asking yourself, what does the research say about Prezi? Since it did come out in April of 2009, there's not a lot of empirical studies on the effects of Prezi, but I did find quite a few action research and other professional development articles related to the good uses of Prezi. One article that I found was out of the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, and it was in response to the National Council of Teachers of English policy statement on promoting 21st century literacies. They explored the use of Prezi in the classroom, and they basically concluded that Prezi allowed students the option of creating more dimensions to explore a topic and to incorporate their thoughts and ideas into a focused venue. They gave examples of student projects such as students using Prezi to map relationships among complex characters within Romeo and Juliet by incorporating links and websites, videos, and images, and by incorporating all this information in this way, it would cater to students' learning styles and multiple intelligences. They also discussed how students using Prezi were able to more deeply explore the relationship presented by visually seeing connections as well as delving into the content presented into video links. So now that we know that research says that Prezi is a good thing to implement within the classroom, let's go ahead and see what it actually does here. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in really quickly. Alright, you'll notice that I haven't shelled out the $59, and so I just have the basic free package. And so what that means are all the presentations I have in here are public domain. You can find them if you search them. So here's actually my first one I made for my interview here, and also different ones that I've saved for preparing for this presentation. Alright, so when you get started and you want to make your own Prezi, you just have to hit New Prezi here, and it'll ask for your title, a description, and then you can just get moving from there. If you'd like to first learn a little bit more about what you're getting yourself into, they have some really good video tutorials here that walk you through the basics. So obviously level 1, they're going to teach you how to move, how to scale things to size, how to rotate properly, and then obviously the zooming feature, which is the big attention grabbing technique of Prezi, and also path. And what path is you can actually map these out, so when you hit advance or hit next, it goes to different images and different text on the Prezi canvas. Level 2, it's going to talk about framing, grouping items together, and moving things forward, and then ultimately sharing your Prezi, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about that because it's a good use that, if you're sharing these presentations, you can help students while they're creating their presentations that you would assign them, and then also you can meet with other teachers online using Prezi to help collaborate, whether you're curriculum planning or collaborating on some lessons. Well, since we've just discussed learning how to make these Prezis, I think a good way to also start is just to explore and see what other people have done to give you an idea of what some of the other possibilities are. Some people may feel uncomfortable about your work being out there, and if that's the case, then I'd recommend to you that you pay the $59 for the educator license so you can make some of these private. So all you have to do to explore, you could search lesson plans, you could search ideas for lessons on Prezi. Just know that the search engine behind it isn't the most efficient, and so you may have to look a little bit and weed through and vet some of the sources like you would with anything online that you're going to put introduce to students in your class. So let's say I'm going through here and I'm like, oh, okay, great jazz bassists and their influence through the ages. And I've actually clicked through this. It's actually a pretty cool one. So as you go through here, if you found that this was interesting to you, all you have to do to save it is hit make a copy right here. And when you do that, you'll notice that it's going to default me back to my Prezis, and it's going to show that that presentation's there for me to edit. I think that this is, like I said, a good way to just start. You don't have to start from scratch, but at least you can start from somewhere. And I'm going to go through some of these to show you as examples. But one thing that I think is really cool is this one that I came across that basically shows what the misuses of Prezi most commonly are, and I'm going to click through this to save us some time here. So as you can see here, even though Prezi is an alternative, this is pretty hilarious. Is basically the guy goes into essentially people will use Prezis as if that they're still PowerPoints. And so basically you're not getting away from that. And so that's something that they would definitely encourage that you keep in mind. And I'm going to fast forward here to give you some tips about how to make better Prezis. So it's an easy trap that you can fall into when using this, which I like the guy's use of humor here. But basically, you're just going to come up with your main idea, kind of like what the original intention was behind Prezi. Map everything out that you definitely want to share, and then use the different techniques to zoom in and zoom out to expand what your ideas are. Think about how long your Prezi presentation is going to be, the kind of information it's going to have, and how to combine the content that you have with the visual space, which are all things that the research has shown will help students. So how you use space is really important within Prezi here. Once again, I'm going to fast forward. Alright, one thing that even the research found is people misusing Zoom, and this presenter here goes into why this you need to be cautious about this. And so even from the use of the examples here with the arrows and the pointing, throwing out the words here, rotating around, I mean, I'm almost having to close my eyes right now because this is really just making me almost sick. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're making your Prezis is not to make your students motion sick. Alright, you'll notice that there's Amanda, her little avatar shows up here. I sent her the invite to the Prezi and she can help me do that. If you want, you can also start an online presentation where you can send this to fellow teachers. You send this link and you guys can get on together and edit any kind of collaboration you have going on. So that's about all I have for right now, and I'm going to answer some questions. You can also use Prezi to collaborate with other people. So if you wanted to edit or share your Prezi so students could share these with you, or you could share these with fellow teachers, you would just hit edit together. You would copy this link and email it to them, and then they can come in. So I'll send this right now to somebody I know. Alright, again, apologize for the choppiness here. As I was saying earlier, in the Explore feature you can find lesson plans that other teachers have already made that you could use or get ideas for lesson plans. So let's say, for example, you're looking for an art lesson in elementary or middle school. I found one here. And so, once again, just shows a practical use of Prezi here, that we know that the big picture is that the students are going to learn how to make a personal totem, and it will walk students through step by step. You can use this, and I wish I would have had something like this, especially when doing activities when I was teaching, for what students need to do. So once again, just another practical application of using Prezi in the classroom. And then now I'm going to discuss a few more tips here before we leave. I'm sorry this is so choppy here, but I wanted to make sure I left time to show you something that you can, something practical you can actually implement in your class right now, if you're not using Prezi right now. We just discussed how zooming can make students sick, but zooming can also really help utilize the function of Prezi and drill down things that you want students to learn. So it can help them focus on what's important. So let's say you're analyzing a long excerpt of text. So you can use zooming in and out to zoom in on the particular meaning of a word, or maybe you're using it to provide an image to associate the word with an image. Or it could be in a subject like science where you're discussing in text like what students need to know, but by helping them see like a diagram to really break down and understand what the text was saying can be helpful. So I wanted to show you that before I forgot to.